Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a sort of like pale person makeup essential video. Basically like the things that I suggest if you have very fair or pale skin and you have a hard time finding makeup that matches you. These are just some of my favorite things and things that I think are kind of essential to have if you are one of those people like me, very fair skinned. So I'll just start showing you my suggestions. First, right off the bat, I'm just going to show you guys liquid and cream foundations. So the first one, of course, is the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo Foundation in this shade Light 42. So it's extremely light. There's a lot of shades of this foundation, so if this is a little too light, you can go for the one below it. But I think it's just absolutely perfect. It's amazing for people that are extremely fair skin, and it's a nice full coverage. So if you have any like pink to your skin, which a lot of fair people do, it covers that right up. The second one, which is like a new discovery of mine, which I really love, is the Jane Iredale Glow Time Full Coverage Mineral BB Cream. So that's it right next to the Kat Von D one. It might even be a little bit lighter. It's amazing, as you can see where it covered part of my tattoo right there. So for BB cream, it's extremely full coverage and it's so nice and it's just amazing. Now, those are two pretty expensive products. The Wet n Wild Coverall is great for people that are fair-skinned as well. If you want a drugstore option, however, it is not as light as the other two, but I do like to mix them. But I'm going to show this to you guys just in case you want a cheaper / drugstore option. That's it at the top. So as you can see, it's not nearly as light as the others, but it's still pretty fair. It's more fair than most of the ones that you can find at the drugstore. Of course, all of my makeup products are cruelty-free, and I try to make sure they're vegan as well. There may be other brands in the drugstore that have light foundations, but they are dead to me, so I don't care. But if you do have a foundation that you like and you want to make it a little bit lighter, I suggest this. This is the Manic Panic Dream Tone Flawless Foundation. And it's basically just a white foundation. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. So it's just white. What I typically do is I'll mix like a high-end foundation with a drugstore foundation, or I'll mix like a little bit of a lighter one with a little bit of a darker one, just like to mix like the formula and color that I like the very best. But you can also mix this in with it if you don't have a foundation that's light enough. If you have like a favorite foundation and they don't make a shade that's light enough for you, definitely mix that in, and it's really, really good and it works really well. Next, I'm going to show you some powders. I have 4 to show you. The first one, you can barely see, it's the Wet n Wild Coverall Pressed Powder in Fair. And I don't know if you can see, this is it around here. I have this on my face today, so I'm not going to swatch it. You can see what color it is. I've used this in like so many of my tutorials, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's a great, cheap drugstore option. Even like the palest people, it's coverall, but it's not so full coverage that it'll make you like darker if it's a little too dark for you. It kind of just melds everything together. Next, I have this BH Studio Pro Matte Finish Press Powder, and this is in the shade 205. So that's what this looks like. As you can see, it's very, very light. It's very comparable to the Wet n Wild Coverall, but a little bit lighter. Again, this is a cheap option. I love the texture of this. That's just what it looks like on my finger there. So this is a great inexpensive option. I don't think you can get this in stores, maybe some places, but definitely not here. But it's an inexpensive option and it's great for fair skinned people. And on a more high-end scale, I have the Kat Von D Light 42. I don't think this is as light. I've mentioned this before. I don't think it's as light as the liquid foundation, but this is probably the palest colored powder that I own. Although it is expensive, so I try to use it sparingly. That's it right here. This is like the most full coverage and the lightest powder that I've found. So again, it is on the pricey side, but it's a great one. The last powder I have to show you is the Manic Panic Virgin Pressed White Powder, and this is just a pure white. Now, if you are super pale and you have a hard time finding anything to set your under eyes with or something that's like a little bit brighter, this will do it for you. As you can see right here, it's just a pure white powder. It's not like, it doesn't have a lot of coverage. It's good for just setting your under eyes. It's what I use to set my under eyes. Well, I use a translucent powder and then I put this over top just to give you that little bit of an extra like light boost, which is so hard to find when you're really, really pale. Pure white will do it for you. Next are cream concealers. I have 2 to show you. The first one is this Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics, or OCC concealer in the color R0. I also like the Bye Bye Under Eye by It Cosmetics, but I don't think that's vegan, so I didn't show it. Although I'm not positive about everything in this being vegan, but I'm 99.9% sure they are. I know this definitely is. This is just a very light concealer, as you can see. It's super creamy, super full coverage. It's great for fair skin. And then on an even whiter, brighter note, I have the Manic Panic Goth White Cream to Powder Foundation. This is what I use under my eyes. I first use this, and then I use this, or you could just mix them together. But I like to just, I don't know, it's just what I prefer. I put this on and then this over top. I'm gonna see if I can start mixing them together, but this is just a pure white cream concealer or foundation, whatever you want to use it for. And I really like the texture and just everything about this. It's really great. Now, highlighters. I think this is like the second hardest thing to find next to foundations for pale people, because everything casts a color. Like, I don't want that. I want like a pure white with maybe a little bit of gold, maybe a little bit of pink, maybe a little bit of silver, whatever. I want it to basically be pure white. So I have some to show you. Of course, what I suggest is if you don't want to buy a highlighter, just use white eyeshadow, like a shimmery white eyeshadow. But I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to show you products that are actually intended for highlighting. The first one is this ColourPop highlighter in the color Fanny Pack. It's a cream highlight, and it's just, I don't know if you can see it here, it's just kind of like a sheer but nice highlight that doesn't have too much glitter in it. Just really like the texture of this, and it's the least expensive out of the ones that I'm going to show you. Next, I'm just like so happy about this. It's the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in the color Pearl. This they only had in the poured formula, which is a cream, and although I do like to use cream highlighters, they don't show up as much on me, so I use like the ColourPop one because it's more sheer, and then I'll go over top with a powder. So anyway, this is the lightest and whitest one, and they had this in a like a collection. It was like a palette, and they finally made it a single one, and it's literally just a pure white highlight. This is amazing. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely perfect. I have nothing but good things to say about this. If you are super pale and aren't finding that like glow that you want, use this. It's amazing. And also I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills in Starlight, and this one is a little bit more warmer. I'd say it's like it's white mixed with champagne. So if you don't want like a stark white highlight and you want like a little bit of warmth, this will be really good for you. It looks like this. But it doesn't show up like yellow. Like I find a lot of like these champagne colored highlights show up almost yellow on my skin. This one does not. Now I'm gonna show you some lip options, and at the end I'm gonna tell you like my final favorite suggestions, I think what you definitely should get. The first lipstick is by e.l.f. and it's in the color Natural Nymph. This is kind of like a peachy nude for very pale people. As you can see here, it's definitely not like a whiteout color, but this does look good on people with very fair skin without looking orange on the lips. So that's just one thing I thought I'd throw in here. And then my two favorite like liquid lipsticks. This is Apocalypse Slick by Lunatic Labs, and it's in the color Coven Cream. This is like a grayish color that looks great on fair skin. It looks great on other skin as well, but I think this is so awesome for fair skin people with like a cool tone like me. Even though my skin is kind of warm, my hair is cool, so I think that looks great, as well as this Makeup Monster's liquid lipstick in the color Muddled. This is basically like a whiteout nude for people, well, not really a whiteout nude, but it kind of looks like a concealer type of nude for very pale people. It's this one here on top. It may not look like it, but on the skin, it's just so nice, and I firmly suggest it for pale people. So all in all, I think the kind of like must-haves that you need would definitely be the Kat Von D foundation in the shade Light 42. And if that's like a little too thick for you, you can mix it with moisturizer. I think that would definitely be something you need, as well as the Wet n Wild Coverall powder foundation or the BH Cosmetics one. And as far as highlight, definitely the Becca one for powder, and definitely the ColourPop one for cream, but Becca for sure. And for lips, Makeup Monsters. As far as contour kit, my favorite one I can't even show you because they don't make anymore. That's why I kind of just like skipped over the contour a little bit, because they don't make it anymore. But yeah, I hope this helped you guys, and good luck in your pale skin journey. If you have any other recommendations for cruelty-free and vegan pale-skinned people, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, or tweet it to me, or message me on Facebook, or whatever, comment on an Instagram picture, because I'd love to share that with you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this helped you, and I love you so much. Stay sassy, and I'll talk to you soon.